Hi, I'm Natalie MacNeil, and you are watching She Takes on the World TV, your weekly dose of soaring inspiration and practical advice to turn your small business into something big. And today I have a very special guest with me on set. She is one of my clients and a woman I absolutely adore, Kathryn Hocking. Kathryn is an eCourse launch specialist and the founder of eCourse Launch Formula, which I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about later on. But for now, I want to welcome my special guest, Kathryn. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Natalie. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited too. And we're going to be talking about the myths that often surround this whole world of e-courses, and also some of the strategies that you've used to have a six-figure launch. So I want to start with the myths. And I know there are three really common myths that you see when you're helping people launch their e-courses. So what's myth number one?
Absolutely. So the first myth is that you need a big list to be able to launch an e-course, and that's absolutely not true. I launched my first e-course with just 140 people on my list, and I had a four-figure launch, which isn't a lot for me now, but at the time it was amazing because I hadn't really made any money in my business, and that was off really quite a small list. So it's really important that people understand that it's not about having a really massive list. It's not about following the rule that you hear bandied about that you need 1,000 people on your list to be able to launch. It's actually about making sure that the people that are on your list are a targeted group of people, and that what you're offering is something that really presents a solution to their needs and the things that they're struggling with. If you're able to package something together that is targeted for them, you can still have a really excellent launch off a small list.
Great advice, because we hear so many people saying, well, you need 5,000 people on your list, or you really need a list of 10,000 people to make it with an e-course. And it's just not true. So I think that's really great advice. Myth number two.
Okay, so myth number two is if you build it, they will come. So it's this idea that we all have when we start out in business, that all we need to do is launch a website and suddenly we'll have clients lining up at the door, or we just need to launch some sort of e-product and, we'll be making six-figure launches. The fact is that it just doesn't work that way. Now, I really encourage everyone to get started early. And as I said, don't wait for some magical number on your list. But the flip side of that is that you need to understand that having six-figure launches is about the momentum that you're building over time. It's about the trust that you're building with your audience. And it's really about being consistent and staying the distance. So one of my clients, for example, she started off with her e-course and her first launch only had 6 people go through it. Now, a lot of people might have given up at this point because it didn't even cover her costs at the time. Her next launch enrolled 26 people, which is really, when you think about it, quite massive growth. And then her next launch again, she enrolled over 50 people. So it really goes to show that if you're consistent and you go the distance, that your launches will continue to increase over time and you'll make more and more money. She's just had her first 5-figure launch and, she's really excited about what's to come.
Again, really great point to make. And I'm sure her launches will just keep getting bigger and better, as yours do, as mine do. It's all about that momentum and continuing to take action, right?
Absolutely.
So myth number 3, what is it?
Okay, so myth number 3 is that you need to be an expert. A lot of people just never get started with things like e-courses because they're worried that they're not an expert. The fact is, you don't actually need to be an expert, but you do need to just be a few steps ahead of the people that you're looking to teach. So, if you're working within a business coaching sort of field, you can start by doing e-courses that are helping people that are just starting out because you're past that point in your business and you're able to help those people. So it's not about having to be an absolute expert. It's just about having enough experience to be able to help people that are a few steps behind where you're at this point in time.
And don't you find that a lot of entrepreneurs, and especially women entrepreneurs, are actually experts and just think they're not experts yet?
Yeah, I think we really undervalue our experience, and we also undervalue how what we know can help people. Like, I'm a natural planner personality and very organized, and
yes, you are.
Yes. Everyone knows that about me.
Everyone knows that.
Sometimes I'll just assume that well, everyone's like that. Everyone, has spreadsheets for this or can plan out a launch. But the fact is everyone can't. That's actually a special skill that I've got and that I can help my clients with. So it's really important not to undervalue the special skills and talents that you've got, because there are people out there that need them.
Yeah, I love that message, and I think it's one worth repeating over and over again. And okay, so those are some of the misconceptions and some of the myths around launching. So let's flip the switch here and talk about strategies to have bigger and better launches for those people who are already launching e-courses. So what is strategy number 1 that has helped you to achieve the size of launch that you've had?
Sure. So before I get into any of the, serious launch strategies, it's really important that we actually take it back a step and we talk about mindset. Because, I was going after 6-figure launches for quite a while. But the fact is, deep down inside in my head, there were these voices sort of saying to me, oh, you're not good enough to have a 6-figure launch, or, that many people aren't going to pay you for your program. And, had all of these internal blocks and upper limits around actually having a 6-figure launch. So until you deal with those mindset issues that are going on, you're actually not going to be able to break through and, have a 6-figure launch or whatever your specific goal is. So what you need to do is you need to really identify what these blocks and these upper limits are first. That's the first thing you need to do. Secondly, you then need to find a way of moving past these upper limits and blocks and dealing with them. Now, for me, I love going to see my kinesiologist and working through any sort of negative energy or blocks that are limiting me. Might be working with your coach. It could be listening to meditation. I love some meditations you can find on Vana app, and I'll listen to them every night during a launch to help keep my mindset really positive. So whatever it is for you, that will help you move through those blocks and upper limits, it's really important to be dealing with that very first.
Totally agree. And then you can move on to strategy number 2, which is?
So if you're wanting to get to the point where you're having a 6-figure launch, this doesn't happen by accident, For anyone I know and I've dealt with in my years in business, they have not had 6-figure launches by flying by the seat of their pants and putting it together in a week. The fact is, 6-figure launches and more, they're launches that are planned, for 3, 6, or even 12 months in advance. You're actually working for an extended period of time on your launch strategies. You're working with various providers, you're establishing relationships and partnerships with people and finding ways that you can get your promotion out there, working on your Facebook ads strategy or all these different things. It's actually a long-term process. So you really need to be actually planning time into your schedule to really plan out your launch, make sure it's strategic, make sure you've got all your ducks in a row to make sure you have these big launches.
And last, share with us strategy number 3.
Okay, so strategy number 3 is something that some of us entrepreneurial types can struggle with a bit, because it's all about taking risks. Sometimes we want to feel that everything is certain and that we can know the result of whatever it is that we're doing in our business. But the fact is, to have a successful business and to be having these big launches, sometimes it's about just putting yourself out there and taking some risks. A coach I know, might have been you actually, Natalie, told me that you need to invest 20% of the revenue that you want to earn in your business. Yeah. So, that can be quite scary for people. So if you want to have a 6-figure launch, that's actually $20,000 that you need to think about investing in your business. Now, that's pretty scary because there aren't any guarantees. But to really be having these really successful launches, you have to be backing yourself that much. You have to believe in yourself that much that you're willing to take some risks. So you need to think about, how can I up my game? What can I be doing to really make my program or my course or my product more professional? What can I try that I haven't tried before that perhaps feels a bit scary? It could be doing a video series or doing a webinar for the first time or creating a challenge, but, try something new, because you're going to get the same results if you keep doing the same thing. So you need to mix it up a bit, try some new strategies. Perhaps try some things that scare you a bit. Maybe you haven't really delved into Facebook ads or remarketing. I know all the remarketing pixels and all of that drive me crazy. And, these are some things that I'm, trying more of because I haven't done it in the past and I want to see what the results are. So I think you've got to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone and really try some new things. So with my mastermind that I launched earlier this year, and that was a 6-figure launch in itself, I had no guarantee that it was going to be a success, but I just had this strong feeling that I was creating something for my existing audience and it was something that they needed. So I went all in, professional branding, professional sales pages and membership sites and copywriting, and I invested a lot of money and it was scary. But it ended up being a 6-figure launch because people could really see the quality in this program and the fact that I was going all in and investing in it. So that really is my advice, that you need to take some risks and be willing to back yourself.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Great advice that you've shared here with us today. Thank you so much for being here. Kathryn flew all the way from Australia to be here on set with me at She Takes on the World TV. So thank you so much for doing that. I really, really appreciate it. And I know this is going to be a really popular episode. For all of you at home, my actionable for you this week is to actually check out Kathryn's free video training series on launching your eCourse. She's going to share more great advice and have more actionables for you over there. So we will share the link below the video. Grab that link and check it out. And you can learn more about Kathryn at KathrynHocking.com. Thank you so much for watching this episode of She Takes on the World TV. I hope you'll subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and share it with your friends. And I'll see you next time. I hope you liked the episode of She Takes on the World TV you just watched. And if you did, I would love to invite you to take my free 14-day Conquer course to turn your small business into something big. Come on over to shetakesontheworld.com/conquer course to sign up.